You saw the signs. You noticed the discomfort. Something felt wrong long before it became obvious. So why did you stay? Because red flags rarely look dangerous at first. They look explainable, temporary, fixable. You tell yourself it's just stress, just a bad phase, just a misunderstanding. And by the time you realize the pattern isn't changing, you're already emotionally invested. The brain protects investment. It hates admitting something was a mistake. So instead of leaving, it searches for reasons to stay. You remember the good moments. You replay the version of them you wish still existed. You convince yourself things will go back to how they were, even if they never really were that way. Ignoring red flags isn't blindness. It's hope mixed with fear. Hope that things will improve. A fear that leaving might hurt more than staying. Because staying feels familiar. Leaving feels uncertain. And uncertainty triggers anxiety faster than discomfort. So the brain chooses the known pain over the unknown possibility. There's also the fear of starting over. New people, new routines, new uncertainty. Even a bad situation can feel safer than an empty space you don't know how to fill. So people tolerate behavior they would never accept from strangers, because history creates attachment, and attachment creates tolerance. Over time, the red flags stop looking like warnings. They start looking like personality traits. You adapt. You adjust your expectations downward. You stop asking for what you need, not because you don't deserve it, but because asking feels exhausting. Eventually, you don't even notice the compromise anymore. It becomes normal, but the discomfort doesn't disappear. It just moves inward, quietly, slowly, until one day you realize you've been managing your life around someone else's limitations. Not because you had to, because leaving felt harder than staying. Most people don't ignore red flags because they're weak. They ignore them because they want the situation to work. Because walking away feels like admitting defeat. Because hope is powerful, and letting go of hope feels like losing something important. But here's the truth people avoid. Ignoring red flags doesn't protect you. It only delays the moment you face them. And delay usually makes the consequences heavier, because problems grow in silence, not attention. At some point, clarity arrives, not dramatically, quietly. You stop defending the situation. You stop explaining it away. You stop pretending you're okay. And you realize something uncomfortable. You knew all along. You just weren't ready to accept it. Because acceptance forces action. And action forces change. And change forces uncertainty. But once you see clearly, staying becomes harder than leaving. Because awareness removes the illusion. You can't unknow what you now understand. You're not foolish for staying. You're human. You hoped, you waited, you tried. But recognizing a pattern doesn't mean you have to live inside it forever. You can leave without anger, without drama, without proving anything. Just a quiet decision that your peace matters more than familiarity. If this feels personal, it probably means there's something in your life you've been tolerating longer than you should. Awareness doesn't force you to act immediately, but it makes pretending harder. Subscribe to Emotions and Decisions for psychology insights about behavior, attachment, and the decisions we struggle to make. Because understanding why you stayed is the first step toward deciding whether you still should.